Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with your new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. Today, it's day 46 in the game. We are once again this fine Friday coming to you minutes after the
hmm
nomination ceremony has completely wrapped up.
Yeah, and I think now with Vince being the HOH, that it's not too surprising who he's decided is going to be up on the block. And it is Ava,
Mm-hmm.
Mickey, and Kelley.
Yeah, like we're in a situation here. We're talking about a guy who is nominated. I mean, not nominated. We're talking about a guy who has been allied with
Yep.
80 to 85% of the House as of late.
Yes.
You don't exactly have a lot of options when it comes to where are you going with this? What is your end game with a lot of it? I mean, Vince, he's a very interesting HOH for the second time, first person to have that distinction so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, if he ends up in a situation where somebody's using a veto, like, I truly don't know where he goes with that because he really doesn't want to upset the Lauren and the Catherine of it all. But then he also has this Judges Alliance. I mean, it's going to get very complicated for him if that veto is used. So he better hope that it is not used. I said this the other day. I felt like Vince was going to win, but that he needed not to win.
Well, we'll get a little bit more into that and take you guys into the HOH process, why Vince ultimately did win this competition, why he
hmm
may have felt like he had to, but
Yep.
also why did these nominations happen, some of the conversations that are going on around them. And, I hate to say this for you, Vince, but for all of us watching, I kind of hope that the veto gets used because it's just better television.
Uh, for me, I'm ready for Mickey to go home. I'm ready for Kelley to go home. I'm fine with these nominations. I have no problem with them.
Okay, well, we have so much more to get into here, but before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button
Mhm.
because, yeah, we are going to continue to be here with Big Brother 27 live feed updates every single day from now through the end of the season. Like, we are getting close to that point where the finale is just a little more than a month away. Like, there's still a lot of people left in the house for this, by the way.
Absolutely. But by hitting that subscribe button, you don't miss any of our daily updates. We are
Yep,
also going to be covering Survivor when it's back and just not that long off either,
yep.
as well as The Amazing Race, which has a bunch of Big Brother alumni racing this time around. So hopefully you'll stick with us for those shows as well. And it really helps us here at the channel to hit that subscribe button. Also, over on our
Mhm.
Patreon, we are having more Big Brother discussions over there. And if you want to chat with us there, I'll leave a link for you below. Thank you so much to everyone who has hit that subscribe button. We couldn't be more thrilled.
Yeah, we very, very much appreciate that. Like, we're not that far away from
I
77,000
can't
at this
even
point.
believe it.
I want 77777.
Ah!
That way I can just pretend like that's my lucky number. Really, it's 13, and I'm cursing myself by having that be that way. But okay, so why did Vince win this HOH? Like, I
Yep.
know the easy answer. Well, obviously, he was the last person on the wall. That's true.
Yes.
But, you did say the other day it was smart for him to throw it. And I do believe you are right. I think in an ideal world, he would have done that. The problem is the final four people on this HOH competition were Keanu, Lauren,
Yeah.
Catherine,
Yeah.
and then him. So nobody who is a part of the judges and nobody who even voted on the same side of him when it comes to the Riley vote. So if he didn't win this, he could be subjected to a lot of blowback.
Absolutely. I mean, I felt before going into it that he really shouldn't have won it because he was balancing too many plates at once at this point. But when you look at who was left, he needed to win it, and he did.
Yeah. Now, we can all be a little bit frustrated over the fact that the feeds were down for hours between the end of the show and then this wall comp even happening. And
Yep.
it feels like, not to be like the historical Big Brother fans that we are, but, back in the day, this competition happened a lot sooner. And now
Mhm.
we're missing all of this fallout, a lot of conversations. Maybe we will see some, but I think whatever that fallout was in between the show ending and this comp starting,
Mhm.
a lot of it probably gets washed away because Vince won, and now people can't really have it out with Vince, who they may have been angry about in the way in which they would have otherwise.
No, they can only have it out in private with other people talking trash.
Yeah. Now, one thing we have learned that did come out of seemingly that time and the time on the feeds that we saw after the comp
Mhm.
was that Morgan did learn from multiple people that Mickey was out there claiming that she was going to keep Riley and get rid of her. Like, we
Mhm.
talked about this throughout the week. Like, at one point, it actually felt like this was going to happen.
Man, Morgan and Mickey, they have been on a ride together. This has been a very complicated up and down relationship where they are friends, they are not friends, they are rooting for each other, they are not,
Yeah.
they are working together, they are not. It has just been such a ride with them. So messy.
It really is. And I mean, we're kind of at this point now where I don't really see if it can be repaired. I kind of feel like this may just be it, unless it's a situation where Morgan just desperately needs a number for whatever reason. And then she can kind of, I don't know, patch things up, try to make it work for a day or two.
I mean, a lot of it depends on this whole judges alliance as well. And if this is, for real, real.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk more about the nomination fallout in a second here, but just as a reminder, or for those of you who do not know, we did have a ton of comments. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see Riley's exit interviews, all of
Right.
that. That has been postponed through what is being called schedule conflicts, which is
Right.
pretty interesting given that Riley, I would assume, had a schedule of being on Big Brother all summer. So I don't know what the schedule is now.
Yeah, the schedule is that he probably is taking a minute to figure out what he's going to say, what he's going to deal with the fallout. He obviously was in the house. He didn't know what
Yeah.
fallout was going on throughout the fandom, how people were feeling about it. So that's what the scheduling conflict likely is that he's trying to figure out how he's going to deal with all the blowback. Will we
Yeah.
ever see interviews? Maybe. He may just wait a little while till it dies down. Who
I
knows?
I just think we all have to kind of temper our expectations. Like, I know a lot of people out there want some brutal takedowns, and trust me, I get it. I understand, but I don't think this is going to be anywhere near as exciting as some people probably want.
No, because this feels very much like there's going to be very controlled interviews. And if you do happen to get somebody who's going to ask those hard hitting questions, Riley's probably just going to leave. They're not actually going to get any answers. I don't think there's any answers out there for anyone to be had.
And I think that's just why, for us, we're just happy to move forward. It's like he's
Right.
not in the house anymore. We don't have to think about him. Catherine gets a chance to move forward. I mean, yeah, she's understandably emotional after everything that happened.
Yes.
But, she's having conversations. Like, I would say, let's not give up on Catherine's game as of yet. She's
Right.
just gone through a lot.
She has. And now it feels like she's really at the start line and we'll see what she's got.
Okay, so yeah, the good news for Catherine is she's not on the block this particular week.
No.
As Jess said, we have Kelley, Mickey, and Ava. It's useful to kind of go into how this happened and more specifically, how Vince tried to justify it. Because if we know one thing about Vince, he wants to have a reason for everything that he can say to everyone else so he can kind of work a little bit of that Vince magic that we have seen the past month and a half.
Which completely makes sense. I mean, I don't know how many out there are like me, but like if I don't have a reason or information, I don't process things very well. I just think myself to death all night of like, well, why is this happening? What could it be? It could be this worst case scenario, all of that. Having some sort of reason, whether it's believable or not,
Yeah.
that you're able to sell is really important in this game.
Yeah, it is. And I think this is where Vince is excellent. Like, we all can
Yep.
have our little critiques here or there of his game, but he's really good of coming up with excuses. Like,
Right.
we'll get into if all of them are great excuses or not, but they're
No.
excuses nonetheless.
Yes.
And this all begins with Kelley, who, once again, Kelley just allows this to continue to happen to her for reasons that will never be understandable to any actual fan of this show.
No, every single week she's fine with going up. She's just throwing herself out there, whether it's sarcastically or not or whatever. It's just tiresome. It's time for Kelley to just go. She's not, for me, adding anything to the game. There's not even that much chaos with her anymore. And I like a messy house, but
Yes.
she's not even being that messy anymore. It's just every week we hear her throw herself on her sword to go up. And it's just like, it's time. You need to go. She's not working with Vince anymore. So it's a good person for Vince to get rid of, anyways.
Yeah, that's the thing here. We're already dealing with someone in Kelley who has been mad at Vince ever since the Adrian vote
Yep.
a little while ago. So it's just like he does not have that much incentive to keep her. Like
No,
you said, like this is not a Keanu situation where yeah, Keanu's also bad at the game, but I feel like Keanu tries really hard.
he does.
He just fails at it. And I think Kelley, she doesn't try in the way that traditional Big Brother fans would. Like, Vince was telling Catherine earlier today that Kelley was refueling water bottles, and she looked back at Vince and said, "Hey, I have an idea. Put me on the block." And, maybe she said this because she was mad or still upset about the Riley vote because Vince didn't vote the same way. Or maybe she is just like, you know what, if I'm going to be a target anyway, I would rather just do it myself so that I don't feel like someone else is betraying me.
And now you're on the block. And that's why at this point, I'm over it, because she's, like you said, Keanu, yeah, he's a terrible player, but
Yeah.
he's trying to actually play. Kelley, no. Every week, she's just kind of quiet for the past quite a while now. She was
Yeah.
messy and ridiculous at the beginning, but for the past few weeks, it's just, we're barely talking about
I
Kelley.
know.
She is a ghost in this house until it's time to about to be nominated, where she's like, "Bah, throw me up on the block. It doesn't matter." Rah, rah, rah. And then you're on the block. And this is
Yeah.
what you deserve, because this is what you're asking for.
Yeah, it's just the situation where I don't necessarily I don't want to sound like, one of these people we've talked about all season, but it's like I'm not that excited to even see her on the jury if she makes it to the jury because I don't really feel like I'm going to buy whatever her rationale is. Like I don't understand how she thinks about the game.
No, she's just not contributing anything to my entertainment, so she can go.
Okay, now we can talk about the opposite of entertainment to some people, and that is Mickey, who is, to the surprise of no one, upset that she is on the block once again.
And she should be upset. That is the proper way to feel about being on the block. This Kelley thing of like, oh, put me on
Yeah.
the block. Who cares? Welcome to the block. We're all on the block party. She got, blockitis, and she's completely fine with it.
Yeah.
This makes the most sense. You're going to be on the block and you're going to be upset about it. Yeah, you should keep it to yourself so that way you can kind of get through it. But this makes sense.
This does make sense. And it's also, Vince has plenty of reasons to be frustrated with her. I mean, this
Yes.
is someone who is advocating for Morgan to leave. And I
Mhm.
think beyond all of that, a lot of people are upset with Mickey and have been for a while. And we'll get into just how delusional she is becoming. Like
Mhm.
she is starting to compete with Keanu here. But first and foremost, the reason why Vince made this move is like he did want to have a justification for all of his nominations. He
Right.
told us, as in us watching the live feeds, that he could blame Mickey for Ava's HOH reign because Mickey tried to control a lot of it. He can blame
Mhm.
what happened to Zach on her, and it was an easy setup, and it's something that I think he felt like a lot of people would buy.
Absolutely.
So, he spoke to her before nominations. This is another trademark Vince thing. Like, he doesn't want to blindside anybody, so
Right.
he's going to sit them down. You can't really say, oh, 100% you're going on the block, but you can be like, I'm strongly considering this move. He says this to her, and she has all sorts of different reactions to this.
Of course.
All right, so like number one, she sort of acts like, you know what, Vince? I had the votes to take you out of the game. I had the votes to get rid of Morgan. Like this is a
Well, then you should have.
yes, like this is a refrain that Mickey has done for a while, where she thinks that she has some sort of mind control over 3 or 4 people in the house, and
Mhm.
maybe once upon a time that's true. Like I'm not going to discount Mickey's social influence because I
Yes.
think she is a pretty good persuasive player in that way. But I don't really think that's the case anymore. And this argument is just like a wet fart. It's not comfortable for anybody.
No, it's not, and it's just not real anymore. If you had the chance to take out Vince
Yeah.
and you didn't do it, then that's on you. And now you're here because Vince is the HOH and you were on the block.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, "Well, I protected you, so how am I here?" Well, we're not working together. That's how you're here.
Yeah, and then she takes this visit to Terrible Lie Central with this next thing she says, which is just that me and Morgan, Vince, we've done so much more for you in this game than Lauren ever has. Yeah, Lauren won a veto. It's just like, how
Oh,
can you
stop.
even claim this at this point? Because saving somebody with the veto is one of the most, not to sound like we're, talking about royalty here, but it's one of the most noble things you can do in the house. You're jeopardizing your own game for the sake of someone who could make you a little more of a target.
Absolutely. You are making yourself more of a target by exposing what your game is and who you are working with by actually using that veto. And we know that Lauren really did struggle with it. Of course, she ended up using it, which
Yeah,
still to me the right thing. You save your allies, especially this deep in the game.
yeah,
And it's a good thing she did because now as the HOH, is not going on the block. It was the right thing to do.
yeah.
But it's just, I don't know why Mickey would ever think that this is some sort of an argument that she has better protected Vince than someone who used the veto.
Yeah,
Stop.
you have to create, if you're going to create lies in the Big Brother house, you have to create lies that you sort of look at the other person and like, if I'm this person, am I going to believe this? And I think Mickey could have spent a little bit more time, I don't know, percolating this lie, developing it. Because if I'm Vince and I'm hearing this, like, I'm never going to believe that.
No, maybe pick somebody else that's just not Lauren to try to
Yeah.
put that on to be like, hey, me and Morgan, we've done a lot for you more than Catherine or somebody else.
All right, finally, Ava is the third person on the block. This is Ava's first time being on the block.
Yep.
So, hats off to Ava making it this far. It's a pretty good
Welcome to
achievement.
the block.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Kelley couldn't welcome her to the bar. Oh, I guess she could. She's just at the party too, right?
Yeah, she is.
So Ava knew about this in advance as well. Like
Yeah.
Vince clued her in. And, Ava was bummed, but she understood. Like she told Will that's like, okay, there's not that many people left who haven't been nominated. Ava's somebody who likes to say, it is what it is a lot. And so she understands it. I don't think that Ava's going to be the target for really anybody at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that would be the case. I mean, if she goes out, I mean, she's not really coming after a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
She's not in that position. So it really wouldn't make any sense.
No, it wouldn't. Okay, so the real reason that Ava is this third nominee, it has a lot to do with, okay, Vince has to figure out some sort of way to spin what happened on this last vote. And he decided that he's not going to lie and throw Keanu under the bus or something like that. He's come up with this really elaborate story. And we want to turn this over to you guys in the comments. We'll tell you what the story is and then let us know, would you ever believe this and somebody in the Big Brother house presents it to you?
Absolutely. All right, let's spin this Vince lie and see how good it sounds.
Okay, so Vince is claiming that he cast his vote as a sympathy for Morgan because he felt like this was a situation where he was assured that ultimately Morgan was going to be evicted. And he just wanted to throw this out there to her. But unfortunately, what he did not expect was that Rachel was going to pressure Ava at the last second to vote that certain way to get rid of Riley. And he did not expect that Mickey would be hoodwinking him. So it's not his fault. He was just trying to do the nice emotional thing for his friend in the game. But Rachel and Mickey, they swindled him. It's their fault. Like he just got completely destroyed.
Yeah, but anybody who was watching that little moment there, Vince was right there with Ava. Yes, Rachel was talking to her as well a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was the two of them that were really talking about that right before the vote. Like anybody standing around was going to see this.
Yeah, I'm just sitting back because I'll be honest. Vince is a very good Big Brother player. Like we've given him plenty of
He
flowers.
is.
I would never believe this for a second. And I'm not saying this like I would be the greatest Big Brother player of all time. I would probably stink at a lot of aspects of it. But it's just, you're telling me that on a vote where it was clear it was going to be a split vote, like regardless of whatever the numbers were going to be, that you were going to be willing to then cast a sympathy vote for someone, knowing that like if just one or two votes flip, like everything could go completely haywire. Like I just wouldn't buy it.
No, it's kind of a terrible lie, and if it's not a lie, then it's just a terrible game move, and the way that Vince has been playing, he's been playing a very solid game. Whether you like his gameplay or not, he has been playing a really strategic, solid game. So why would he take a huge chance like that if the vote is this close and everybody kind of had an idea that it might be that this is it? So either you're buying a really bad lie or you're buying that Vince all of a sudden is a bad player.
Yeah, and I know Vince tries to downplay himself and, sad sack it and have pity parties and all of that, but it's just like, even reading all of that, it's hard to believe that he just didn't know what was going on and he cast the vote
No.
this way. But what makes this whole situation really tough? Because he's HOH, nobody can really come out and be like, I don't believe this lie. Because it's like, as of right now, nobody has said that, and I don't think they would say that until at least after the veto ceremony, because they don't want to put a target on themselves for being like, I don't believe you.
Absolutely. This is not the time to come forward with that, but hopefully in the next little while, we're going to hear a little more private conversations on that of who's actually believing it or not. We'll
Yeah.
see.
And I think it's just, he's obviously benefiting somewhat from the fact that the people who he has to tell this lie to are people like, Catherine, who's been in an unfortunate spot a lot of this game, and
Yeah.
somebody like Keanu, who is one of the most delusional players we have ever seen. Like,
Mhm.
maybe if he was telling this to Rachel, it would be called out right away. But I get where he's coming from, because he is just like, I want to be loyal to the judges for now. It doesn't mean he wants to go to the end of the game with the judges. So I think he wants to still have that optionality. Like, he doesn't want to lose someone like Lauren and make Lauren feel like, okay, I never want to work with this guy again.
Well, this is the unfortunate situation that he's in because, of course, he wants to continue to keep the judges happy.
Yes.
Over here, he's got Lauren and Catherine. He's got the whole Keanu of it all. That's why I was kind of like, this is not the one to win until I saw who he was left with, where it
Yeah.
was just like, this is not a great time to win because you have a very tiny pool of people that you can really pull from at this point that won't be upset to be like, oh, you're against the judges now, or oh, you're against Lauren and Catherine now.
Yeah, like he is. And this is not an exaggeration. I don't think there's a single person Vince can nominate outside of these three that's going to be easy. And this is probably
I
why he
know.
doesn't want the veto used, because the big reason he didn't nominate Catherine, and, he has told Will that this could be the renom, that if somebody uses it, Catherine could go up. But I think he clearly wants to protect himself and be like, I wasn't trying to hurt you or Riley, Catherine. This is the whole reason why this happened. And if he puts up the showman's partner right after sending Riley out, then the message is very clearly, okay, I was going after the showman's the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so here's the whole why not Rachel discussion part of this, because Vince has obviously had it out for Rachel at various times
Mhm.
throughout the game. And I understand there is the Judges Alliance, but we have already seen multiple times this season a lot of these big alliances. Like, how long have they lasted? A week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, but this one actually feels like it's got a little bit of legs. It may not go all the way to the
Yeah.
end, but it feels like it's got legs for a little while now.
Yeah, like I think the only evidence, that the only real evidence, I should say, that we have that Vince was considering this is that he mentioned it to Morgan, that he was considering it, but not heavily. And, Morgan thinks that Vince is a number one for her. And so,
Right.
like, they can talk pretty freely about all of this.
Mhm.
He also did say it to Will. I'll
Mhm.
put a tinfoil hat theory on
All
for
right.
this. I kind of wonder if the Will part of it, where he just said, he was entertaining it, but I think he's waiting to see if Will's going to run that information back to Rachel, because I think he's trying to figure out, while he's HOH, okay, is Will someone I can actually trust? Because if I stick with the judges, I probably do not want Rachel in the final two, but is Will someone I can sort of trust to maybe help me get rid of Rachel down the road?
Yeah, and Vince needs numbers because his numbers have been dwindling and going out the door the past couple of weeks. So he really does need to pick people up and pick up some more numbers. So if he can ride with the judges for a little while longer, then, that's great. But I think he does need to test the waters with Will.
Yeah, and what he's doing with some other people, the non-judges, if you will, is he is floating Rachel as a replacement nominee after the veto, because then he can sort of create this other narrative of, okay, I know Rachel's this huge threat. We got to backdoor Rachel. Like, that's the only way to make it happen. And then these people, they'll eat it up. But yeah, that's the thing.
But then you win that veto, and
Yes.
now what?
He just continues to just dig these holes for himself, and
Yeah.
then he's hoping that someone else is going to come and fill up the hole after the fact. And he hasn't been lucky with this all the time. Like, this
No.
last blockbuster result was one of his worst case scenarios, but he's doing what he has to do right now to appease people like Lauren, who would be suspicious otherwise, people like Keanu, who really actually does seem to want Rachel out now.
Yeah, he's done with her. It's this whole Riley thing has really just sent him spinning out. Like, he is really done with Rachel at the moment.
Yeah, like, he feels like she's responsible for flipping the vote. And I know that Vince has enabled this and is kind of keeping a lot of this conversation going. But, this is something that Vince wants because Keanu is a challenge beast. And if Keanu wins some competitions, he can maybe go after her and get rid of a target that he probably does not want to deal with directly.
Absolutely. And Keanu will continue to ride for Vince. So if he can take care of the Rachel problem and Vince doesn't have to, that's better for him. Then he hasn't gone against the Judges Alliance.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole idea with Vince right now, is he wants to keep people focused on each other and not focused on him. And since Rachel, at least for now, may or may not be going directly after him. I mean, we'll see what happens if Rachel wins another HOH. I think eventually she is going to want to take that shot, but he's playing a little bit carefully for now. And I feel like this is probably the right move. I do think Vince is smart enough to know, okay, I can't bring Rachel to Final 5, Final 4, or something like that. But if I can work with her now, get rid of somebody like Mickey who doesn't benefit me at all anymore, like, why not just go ahead and do that?
Or get rid of someone like Kelley who just isn't working with you anymore. And all the Vince magic that he tried to work on her after that Adrian vote, it seemed like maybe it was okay for a little while, but it never really was. Like, he's never winning her back. It's over. Kelley really needs to go.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff to be had there when it comes to just the target. Like, who is the actual target for this week? Because right now, it seems like Vince wants it to be Mickey, which I do understand, given that a lot of people in the game obviously do want her out. And she's somebody who has lied a ton. She has now won that blockbuster. I know she kind of won HOH thanks to that power, but she's very influential in a way. And the fact that she has been a dominant force in the house before means that in theory, she can do that again.
Absolutely. But then you got the Rachel of it all, who is ready to get rid of Kelley like me. I'm done with Kelley. And for Vince, I mean, either one of these people, that's a benefit. They are both going to come after him. They can both go. As long as it's not Ava, who's like, you don't really know where she's landing at this point.
Yeah, I think if either one of these people go, it's fine for Vince in the end, because it's like Vince has plenty of other allies at this point. Kelley's not really an ally anymore.
No,
like, he
can't win her back.
He's got opportunities to work with a ton of other people. Like, Rachel is in a spot here where she's already trying to rally some numbers to get rid of Kelley. Like, she's talked a little bit with Ashley about all of this. And I know sometimes we're privy to a lot of information that house guests are not. Like, Kelley said something not that long ago that was just really terrible, that she said that she wanted Rachel to be the first juror so that she would be alone on her anniversary. Which,
so disgusting. Like, some people are saying some really disgusting things this season that just hurt my heart, that are trying to like make it outside the game, that like something like that. Oh, I want her to be alone on her anniversary, so she just has to sit in jury house by herself. Why? What does that, how does that benefit you, that you got to be that mean about it? Like, don't be a mean girl, Kelley. Just stop it.
Yeah, there's no point in saying anything, because it could, theoretically, you never know if Rachel's going to find out about some of this stuff. And if Rachel hears you say something like that, Rachel is just going to completely destroy you. And it's just, I think Rachel even knows, without knowing all of it, that Kelley doesn't like her. It's a good move for Rachel. I think that what she has to be careful of over the next few days is like, okay, not disagreeing too much with Vince publicly. Like, have reasonable conversations. I do think Vince will be marginally amenable to whatever happens so long as the veto is not used, but you don't want to make it seem like there's Rachel versus Vince friction right now. Like, here is an example of just how amenable Vince could be in theory, so long as you don't push this into overdrive, is that he's already aware. He said this to both Morgan and Will, that the entire Judges Alliance, they may not be in agreement when it comes to who the target is. Like, he's not being oblivious to that idea. I mean, yeah, we'll wait and see how forceful Vince is, but he's not that sort of player. He's not like Mr. I'm gonna strong arm you guys to do what I want. Like, the people who are on the block are on the block.
Absolutely. And you know what? This happens in alliances on the show all the time, where you have a bigger group of people. Not everyone is going to see eye to eye, but in the end, however it goes, it's someone that's not part of the alliance. And really, they all have to go.
Yeah. So finally, we have a new final three here. And this was really created by Will, because Will's the one who brought up to Ashley and Rachel the idea of having this final three together. Anybody,
Team 50.
Yeah, anybody who approaches you with a final two or final three, of course, you're going to say yes. And here's the thing about Team 50 Will at this point is that, and we've talked a little bit about this, like, he's got pretty good reads. And this is a really good alliance to have because it's the majority of the judges. Right. And, in that sense, it kind of makes even more sense that Vince is going to have to ditch them eventually if he's like on the outer ring of a lot of that. But the more I see of Will in the game, like, he's pretty smart. He's got great reads. Everybody really, really likes him. He's got so much going for him.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a really good idea. And we've seen this happen before too, where you have a larger alliance like the judges.
Yeah.
And then you have the smaller part of that. That's like, okay, once it's down to just the judges, the three of us, we're the ones. And we have the votes to get rid of the other two.
Yeah. It's a really smart thing to do. The one thing Will needs to do, it's not even necessarily win a comp. He just needs to figure out a couple more moves that he can take solo ownership of. And if he does that, the rest of the game that he's playing is so good that Team 50 could actually win. And it would be really, really fun to see an older winner of Big Brother.
Who are you calling older? No, I'm kidding. Absolutely.
I was about to run so fast out of this video.
I am in my old lady era. I'm 50. I don't care. No, absolutely. I would love to see somebody who is 50 win this game. Let's go, Will.
All right. Well, as I recover from a near heart attack here, that is the end of our Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. Let us know, what do you think about Vince's HOH, his nominations? Who do you guys think should be the target? And of course, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you didn't know, we're in the midst of covering Alien Earth, which has been a really, really great ride. Check those reviews out and support us further by joining our Patreon. More Big Brother discussion happening there. Thank you so much for your support there, and we will see you here next time.